on the move like I need a new hobby. Fuck a 9 to 5.
Getting out the motherfucking mud, doing it by yourself, figuring it out by yourself, nobody but you and a higher power. You see what I'm saying?
That part.
Real talk. Like people sleep on that shit. Like, no, motherfucker, you had help, you had a spouse, you had somebody that you could depend on. When we doing this shit, we just out here. You see what I'm saying? We know the odds is against us. We know what the fuck society, or how the fuck society looks at us because of the powers that be that want it to be that way. You see what I'm saying? And we also know why they trying to do that shit. I ain't know why before. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I had to gain my knowledge. I had to gain my knowledge and understand, like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Because it never made sense to me why a motherfucker hates you just because of the color of your skin. Like, that's crazy to me.
Right.
Like, you're that picky, you just don't like the color of somebody's skin. Nah, it's deeper than
Called the sins of our fathers.
It's deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. People
And we suffer deeply from this trauma from years. So let's take a trip first. Before we dig in to this discussion, let's take a little trip, only for acknowledgement, not to hold on to it and be like, yo, like, this is what we gotta do, we against the man, but just to understand it, because a lot of people don't listen to this and think that this is not impactful. This should encourage you to be better than what you are. But let's look at it this way. 400 years, we were taken from wherever we were. I'm saying we because when I break it down genetically, I'm a part of that. No matter how I look at it, if it's a 0.% of blood, it has something to do with it. And no matter what, I'm suffering from their suffrage. You know what I mean? So let's say we. You know what I mean? So we, for 400 years, were captive through Europeans by Spanish. I'm probably not exact, but I'm pretty close, right? They took us, they held us, Amistad, You know, eventually Europe becomes the United States. Then we become slaves in the southern part of the United States, right? Okay, somewhere along here, right? This happened for years. We fought in all of their wars. We supported all of their presidents. We supported all of their laws, all of their values, all of their religion. We supported their banks. We worked for their companies. We gave back taxes from the time that we worked for them. We've done all of this in the name of them, and we never had our own, right? So let's fast forward from all of that, right? Now we get to a more comfortable era. Let's get to, like, you know, late 60s, after, you know, late great Martin Luther King and Dr. X. You know what I mean? We get to these great guys, right? After that, now we develop the Black Panther Party. You know, Black Panther Party, 1962, 1958-ish. You know, they get together in coalitions to help out in whatever way they can, you know what I mean? Slowly but surely, and then they become very powerful around 1962.
Eradicated by the CIA.
But not yet. It gets there, but before that, very powerful.
We were a threat
very powerful
to the U.S. government
Exactly.
for caring about each other.
Right. And now let's pause right there. This is where we were. We were powerful. We were united. We loved each other. It was black love every time. This meant black love. You know what I mean? So that's what it was at that point in time. Afro was a beautiful thing. Everybody was doing it. Even white people was doing it. You know what I mean? So it was captivating. They were captivated by us. You know what I mean? And we got almost to the middle of the 70s. And they start to break us apart. Throw most of our men in jail. Take down the leaders. Break up Bobby Seale, Angela Davis, and Fred Hammond, and what's the other guy's name? Huey Newman, right? We got rid of all those great figures. And then, but before they left, they had this show called the Black Journal. while they were in the midst of giving out breakfasts to the kids before they go to school, making sure they had school programs, making sure they had safe travel to go through the different areas, different bad areas in the neighborhood.
They had a big history.
Yeah, it was awesome, and they were a part of New Haven. They were a part of New Haven at one point,
According to the OG.
right? So like it was a big thing it was a beautiful thing to be black at that point in time, and
It still is.
it still is.
But they corrupted
It still
it.
is. They corrupted it.
They
And so
corrupted it, but
now instead of us being co-aligned, you know what I mean, and being like, you know, the integrating, they make us separatists. We're against the black people that just want to be with the black people, and they divided us amongst each other, and now it's women against us, you know, and women were kind of the backbone of us. They were making sure that the kids were in line and making sure that the kids were paying attention to what their father was teaching them, and this is what a black man should be like, and then they throw these black men in jail, you know what I mean, and take them away from their families. Then when they take them away from their families, it's okay for black women, but believe me when I tell you this black women being strong, it was way before the 80s. Like a lot of people think like black men got thrown in jail. Nah, black men been strong for a minute. They've been strong since we've been around. They've been strong since history. Harriet Tubman. Facts.
I ain't gonna front. I don't know if this is real. I heard Harriet Tubman was duffing babies if they was crying.
Yo, that's tough love.
Like duffing them.
That's
out,
crazy if she was. Yo, I don't know, man. Where do you hear that from?
The internet.
Oh yeah. It's probably true. You gotta trust the internet, right?
Definitely the internet.
Nah, but it's just crazy. But we never were against supporting our black women. We always encouraged them, and they always encouraged us. And now we're at a point where we don't encourage each other, and we need to. But we need to also hold each other accountable and not blame it on slavery, Amistad, blame it on the Black Panther Party being broken up and shit like that. Now do what you gotta do now, cause you know about all of this, right?
I feel like
so let that fuel you.
I feel like a lot of women just don't want to hear that shit because they're set up to be against us. Like when you have housing from like a Section 8 standpoint, you're not supposed to have no spouse in there with you.
That part.
You see what I'm saying?
They don't want us. They don't
want, you know what I'm saying? They don't want no families to be, I don't know. Like they'll give you the bread, but you gotta make sure no nigga live there. Whenever we come and, you know what I'm saying? You gotta at least make an attempt to make sure no nigga lives there. That's crazy. And they chose that. A lot of them. You see what I'm saying? Some of them was forced to because they trusted some fuck niggas and had kids and you know, dealt with the consequences. And their men did or left them. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy, bro. Like it's still a setup. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I can't even be mad at them being mad at us because it's a setup, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm really mad at.
Be on the move like I need a new hobby. Fuck a 9 to 5.
Mission as men, like we gotta protect, provide, develop resources. Like throughout our whole life, we're determined to set goals for ourselves. And a lot of times, unfortunately, we don't learn this until a very late age. You know what I mean? I started doing certain things that I probably should have been doing earlier in my life when I had more drive, more energy. And instead, I wasted that drive and energy on turning up. And
Do you believe that, or do you believe everything just happens for you?
I believe in part that there is a sequence of things that you have to go through to get to a certain place in life, certain adversities, I would say, that you're supposed to hit before you become a man. But some shit just be like unnecessary distractions, and you bring that upon yourself just from not knowing, just from the ignorance. So you gotta learn the hard way, as they say, most of the time. But I wish more people could learn sooner than to having to go through the hard way, because the hard way ain't shit, man. Like you don't have to go to the military to get a homeowner's loan, you know what I mean? But I went through the military, and for me, that experience helped me understand what a man should be doing. Duty, honor, respect. Doing what you know you're supposed to do when nobody paying attention to you and shit. Just doing it because it gotta be done. That type of shit. I didn't have no examples of learning what that was at an early age. I had to learn on my own. And some people are like, oh, it's common sense. It's not common sense. Because the normal is not your normal. If my normal is your normal, then maybe it is common sense. So common sense is not so common. If you live in the suburbs, you can't understand what's going on in the urban area.
Oh, you don't want to?
You don't want to, but you really haven't been in it. Like, you could watch a movie, a documentary, you could hear what somebody tell you, but when you in that shit, you really gotta eat oodles and noodles for a few years. You really gotta have beans and franks or sloppy Joe. You know what I mean?
Not beans and glizzies.
Beans and glizzies, bro. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Like if you really had to go through that, you understand. It really is, like, it's not traumatic. It's not the end of the world. Like, you're not gonna die because you gotta succumb to eating something that's not as fancy as, like, you know, lobster bisque.
You just might. They try to feed us poison. They start eating it.
I mean, you gotta just work hard, yo. If you a man, like, just expect that you gotta work hard. You can't
Every day.
you have to. You have to. Like, you might not want to, but it's not about what you want. Really, you gotta realize that shit. Like, it feels like it's like fucked up. Like, it's like, damn, I don't want to do that shit. But so what? You still gotta wake up. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. A lot of young men don't want to do it. If you could get the bag from being online and playing video games and streaming them online, then do it. All I'm saying is get the bag. Like, don't waste your time.
Make a value effort.
Right, make your time.
And I'm not even mad if they waste their time, because at the end of the day, I wasted mad time.
Yeah,
everybody.
But we didn't have. See, here's the problem. Here's the problem with that, because I'm 37 as of August 14th. That's a couple of days ago, a few days ago. I realized before this year, right, that I have more of a purpose than just being a young black single man that did such and such. That now I have a responsibility to tell other people, this is what I'm doing. If you want to help, you can. Sometimes people call and ask for jobs. I'm not in a position to hire a lot of people right now, so I won't consider it right now, because I want people to be happy. You know what I mean? If they're working for me, not just because I smile and say good morning, but because I could compensate you for your efforts. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't even take that on. Now, if they want to volunteer to do it, hell yeah, by all means, because you see a bigger picture, and maybe you can have a bigger role, which would entitle you to compensation. But until then, you know what I mean? Whatever. But I look at it like this: you can do whatever you want to do, but when you do what you have to do, that's when it really is impactful to your life. You doing what you have to do, and not because somebody told you how to do it, not because somebody gave you an ultimatum. It's because you realize that that's something that you're disciplined to accomplish.
Isn't that struggling?
You gotta struggle.
Do you?
Yeah, if you're a man, yes. Yes, if you're a man.
But
yes.
do you have to struggle financially?
If you don't have shit, yeah. If you're a man, if you inherit the shit, then nah, you probably don't have to struggle too much because you got that outpatient dependency, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Because you got your parent giving you money. And
What about a slow paced development of knowledge?
How much it costs you? If it don't cost you nothing, then it's fine.
I mean,
But
it costs you success. If a
time
slow pace,
is money. So however much time it take you to do that, remember that's a subtraction of what you could be getting if you actually apply some of that. You're gonna fail. So to accept it is like,
that's the mentality. Like,
right.
fail.
You're gonna fail.
You're gonna fail,
and you know why?
Though?
You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail at something that you think you're too sure about. You have to be anxious. You have to have anxiety about accomplishing something because you're worried about that because you're up all night practicing for this shit, getting yourself right, preparing yourself for this moment. So you're gonna be like fucking sick, you know what I mean, trying to get that shit. And that's the fucking hunger. That's the obsession. Most millionaires, and I don't talk about regular people because only a certain percentage of people that become millionaires, but most millionaires, they be fucking struggling, hurting before they get to where they want to get, but they have to make certain sacrifices. That means that you're not going to be able to eat what you want to eat. That means you're not going to be able to drive as much as you want because you're going to have to reserve money on gas. That means that you're going to have to, if you do something for somebody else, you're going to have to exempt yourself from that situation so you won't have such a financial burden unless you got the bread, unless you got multiple streams of income coming in already. It's not about saving the money, it's about making the money work for you so that you can make more. Because you want your money to be making money when you sleep.
Do you feel like most millionaires struggle
Yes.
at the point that they're at now?
Yes. Because they want to be more than what they are.
What's the struggle?
The struggle is competition. At that level, now it's only a certain amount of people, only one person can be on top. Now you already had that feel. As a man, you should not want to just sit there and chill unless you got residual coming in. That's a crazy ass thing. You got residual over excess of.
That's what I'm saying. Like
a billion something. Yeah, but once you get to that point, as hard as it took you to get it, now you see how easy you can do it. You're gonna take some of your money to make another little project here.
But that's not pressed though. Pressed is like
that's your time. Your time is what you paying for.
True.
You becoming rich, so you don't have to do that. So when you starting something from scratch, you're gonna be the more passionate person about the shit. Unless I be like, yo, OD, I'm gonna give you 500 grand. Start this business for me. Put it in my name, but I want you to run it. I'm gonna give you 500 grand. I gotta expect you to just do this shit with the same passion that I would do it just because I put it on you. Or I have to put the same energy into that shit as it took me to get my empire.
I just feel like there's a lot more
You could cross-train people.
rich people that's just chilling. Like they're not really stressing.
It's
they
always
make so much money.
the money doesn't last forever, and you gotta think about their expenses. Like some rich people,
But that's what I'm saying.
might live in a home that they paid for,
And you can't
but
bring
they
that
have
shit with you.
but they
like,
gotta have assets in order to maintain that wealth. When you relocate and buy a home or some shit like that, you gotta pay for electricity, you gotta pay for this, you gotta pay for that. It's things that you're gonna have to continue to pay for the rest of your life. So how you gonna fund that shit if your money is not circulating? And if your money's circulating, the shit goes up. Now you gonna have to compete. Now there's other motherfuckers that's doing what you doing, but doing it better.
all right, so
Cheaper.
you
They're
say
taking your people from you.
you say that rich people struggle just as much as poor people.
They struggle more, but
You
but
think
that's the
rich
that's the
people
beauty of the
struggle-
book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich
'cause it-
people struggle more than
absolutely,
poor people.
absolutely. Poor people are poor because they're content. Poor people are poor people because they're content. They accept it.
Content or settle?
I use that term specifically, but
Content is like happy about it. Like,
They
I don't
are.
think-
They
I don't-
are.
I don't think a lot of poor people.
I think
happy
they
about it.
are. I think a good
Like
majority.
the narrative
I wouldn't
of
say
poor
I wouldn't
people
say
want to be rich.
when I say it, I'm saying in general. I'm saying the majority of them are content. You could want to do some
You
shit.
believe that?
Absolutely. Because
Poor,
if you want
not broke.
if you,
I'm saying poor. Broke is like
What's
I don't
poor?
have any money,
What's poor?
but I can pay my
if
bills.
the average,
Poor is I don't have
if the
enough
average
money
pay,
to have a house.
if the average pay is 40,000, meaning that you got a decent job and you getting by,
Mhm.
then if they're getting paid 25 to 30,000,
That's broke.
then they're content.
That's so you saying broke people is content then?
Yeah, because they could be making 50,000 like you or 40,000 like you or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they could be making the same amount of bread.
But they would have had to make certain choices that they didn't want to do.
And
Like,
that
a lot of
that
people-
means that they're comfortable with whatever other shit that they're doing instead of making that choice because they know they got to make a sacrifice to get to the top. You're not gonna move up unless you make sacrifices.
Yeah, but like I feel like you're like
If you okay
I
with
feel
it,
like you're dismissing all the sacrifices that they did take.
what?
For a path of rich. Like, you see what I'm saying? What you're saying is, by your definition, I'm saying you specifically because we're not taking anything.
Content is just okay. You okay with this shit? You good, right? That's content. Like fuck it.
Yeah, I'm
Shit
cool
could be
without
better,
it, yeah.
but I'm alright without it. That's what you are. I think most poor people are content.
So
Because
do you feel like you were content?
I don't feel like I'm poor.
But you're not rich. So are you content with which you are
You don't gotta
at
be,
right now?
but you don't have to be poor if you're not rich.
Are you content with where you're at right now?
I'm not content,
Exactly.
but I'm not poor either. And I think poor people are content. See, here's the difference. See, you can make more money than you made last year, and that can be your goal. If that's your goal and you accomplish your goal, then there's what are you talking? You continuing to bring yourself up every year.
Sometimes when you keep climbing, bro, and there's no ceiling, there's no way you could look down and realize, damn, like if I fall from up here, bro, I'm a rat. And there's
I don't care.
And there's nothing.
Because it's
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about money.
You could profit off the journey.
That's how I feel about money.
But
You're
you
gonna
gotta
keep
be
climbing.
careful.
You're gonna keep
You
getting
gotta,
bread.
and that's the beauty
You're
of
gonna
financial
keep-
literacy. You gotta understand how your money moves. Money is an illusion.
Money is an illusion.
Money is an illusion,
I
bro.
agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
You
But
just
what you're
got
saying,
that- you
but
just
what
got
you're
that
saying
thing.
is not an
It's
illusion.
gonna cost them 2 cents or $3 to cash it out.
What
but
you're
he could pay
saying,
it to
what
his
you're
imaginary
saying is
cash
not
out
an illusion.
to give it to somebody else.
If you believe that, if you settle because you're not where you want to be.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Why does that offend people? Not saying that it offends you, but I'm saying like people will take it the way that you're saying it. People will take it that way and say, you know, because guilty conscience. I'm saying that people can always do more than what they're doing. They don't choose to do it because it's okay with what they got. You know what I mean? Because you know the average person doing like 40 hours a day. Millionaires, they doing like 90 hours a day. You feel me? Or 90 hours of work, you know, per diem and whatever the fuck they gotta do. You know what I mean? That's how they're working. They're working 100 hour weeks and shit like that. Where we like being 40 hours, man, that's crazy. 40 hours a week.
That's where we're different. That's where I'm losing you.
But it's what you want.
What you're saying
It's what you
is
want in
what
life.
you're saying is what
If
you're
you
saying
want more,
is
you do more.
what you're saying is all rich people move in this way because they work way more hours than the average. But I'm saying that's not true. A lot of rich people don't have to work, especially manual labor.
All right, so-
Hold on, let me finish. They don't have to work, especially manual labor jobs. So the business is different. And if they go to school, if they have the resources, which a lot of people like us don't have the resources because people like them, like their family has been doing, give them the resources and make sure they keep it away from us, right? They're taking the resources and making bread off of our backs. It's not like it's their money. You see what I'm saying? So when you're saying that like people is content with being broke, that's the mentality that you got because that person that is in control is telling you, yeah, this is what you strive to do, be like us. But that's not us. That's not in our nature. Our nature is to help each other. Our nature is to, you know what I'm saying? All that shit gets killed when it's like crabs in the barrel. And that mentality, oh, fuck that, I could always be working harder. Bro, you don't really have to work. Who said in the Bible that we had to work, bro? Like, that's a mentality that Rockefeller, if we really go break it down, that's a mentality that Rockefeller is the dude that basically owns all of this shit. And he said, I'd rather have a country like America of people that is in work, doing work, laboring, than free thinkers. I don't want no fucking free thinkers. I can't get paid off that. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like manual labor is a fucking sham. And if the answer is doing more than that, then by the time you get to retirement, you're gonna die doing that work. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, if you're saying, okay, you don't want to be a millionaire because you don't want to put 60 hours in. Nigga, you put 60 hours in doing some hard shit, you're gonna die, bro, because your body is not meant to do this shit. You see what I'm saying? Just like if you're running up a hill and you're trying to get to your destination and fucking you're running, you got no water, the water's up top. You see what I'm saying? And you running. You know if you win this race, you're gonna get paid. You're gonna get the bag. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So what? Okay. So let me just interject because I've listened to everything that you're saying because I didn't want to interrupt you because you was going. But what do you think? What do you think I'm saying? What are you interpreting from what I said?
I think you're saying that there is no excuses. You should be able to figure out a way to make it to the success that you wanted to make it to, and there's no sympathy for people that can't figure it out.
No. Yes and no. Men, specifically, men is what I said. I didn't say everybody, and when I say men, I generalize it because all men are capable of doing this.
It's bullshit, bro.
Okay.
That's why I said.
That's fine. That's your opinion. I love your opinion,
you know what I'm saying?
because it's a good contract.
But you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
You
I
understand that
do.
there's a reason why certain black men.
This is why me and my boy argue all the time, because like what you're saying, that's how I feel, but I'm not that. I feel like what you're saying, but I'm not that. I'm gonna push myself.
But do you understand that there's powers to be that is kind of making it the reason why it is the way it is?
Yeah, but fuck that. You know, at the end of the day, yeah, I understand, but you can't. It's redundant to try to go against that. It's not even to do about that.
It's redundant.
All we have to do
ignore it,
is
bro.
all be able to be powerful amongst ourselves, because without power, there's really no voice. You have to have the power. So the only way to get power is to change. First of all, money talks in this country. You gotta have the capital. Yeah, you could be good with your words, because words bring down kingdoms. But you have to get to that point to be heard.
Let me ask you this.
Your voice comes with the power, right?
Do you think if we did have the capital, if black people all of a sudden started, you know what I mean, we're not gonna shoot each other no more, we're gonna get our shit together, like it was a collective, do you think that the powers to be would let that shit slide? Or do you think that they would take action against it?
Hypothetically,
obviously.
Because the way that this is, it'll never happen. They've been talking about this shit since the 60s.
So we're talking hypothetically.
So that's what I said, hypothetically. Hypothetically, would they be able to stop us? If we came to a decision all together, it's so many of us, so many young people, so many different minds, gangs, and everything, we'd overthrow them. It would be ridiculous, but we can't all come on one accord. It's so many of us,
So
and
we're
we
not
make
talking
up.
about
Yo,
what
we
we
make
did,
up.
though,
We make
bro.
up. We make up over $1 trillion of the consumer market.
This is what I'm trying to say.
So if we
hypothetically,
cut that shit off and put all that money into us,
Mhm.
we'd be the richest civilization.
What I'm saying is, would there be forces against what we were doing?
Of course.
And that's my point.
So what?
So okay. So if there's
What's that?
hold on. So if there's forces against what we are trying to do, then nothing can just. You can't ignore that.
That's not gonna be
You
easy.
can't. No, I'm not
Nobody
saying.
said it's not
I
gonna
didn't
be
say
easy. That's
anything
what I've been
about
trying to tell you the whole time.
I'm not saying anything
Easy
about
street.
easy.
Being
I'm saying
content.
stop. I'm
You
saying
gotta
stop
work hard.
ignoring it and being like, yo,
It's not ignoring it.
This
You
is
could
no
talk
big
about,
deal.
You could talk about that, but that shouldn't stop you from your goal. That's why I said our history
I'm not
real
saying
quick.
it's
That's
gonna
why.
stop you
That's
from
why I
your
dabbled
goal.
our history in there
I'm
because
not saying
I
it's
want
gonna
people to
stop you from
understand
your
that
goal.
this is what happened. You could understand it. We want our youth to understand where they came from so that they can appreciate where they're going. But you have to take that and make that into a motherfucking spirit bomb for the motherfuckers that's into anime. You gotta make that shit. You gotta make that shit something strong. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, we've been through some shit, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and we are stronger. You know what I mean? But we're stronger and we're divided. Imagine if that strength was one. You know what I mean? And it's a problem because our women don't respect themselves. They don't respect us. Our men don't respect themselves, and they're becoming not men anymore. You know what I mean? And it's a lot that's going on that we have to deal with as a people. But what I can say is it's heavy shit. But we could still surpass that and still be something better. But we need more like-minded people. Reach one, teach one. You know what I mean? And everybody not gonna jump on, but it's gonna be some people that's gonna be with it. We can get 100, we can get 100,000,
Yo, bro,
we can get 100 million.
Yo, bro, you can't help the community and be at work 60 hours. We're trying to be a millionaire, bro.
Nah, but that's
you
what
gotta
I'm saying.
pick one,
If you
bro.
working 60 hours
You gotta
for your
pick
own
one,
company,
bro.
If you working 60 hours for your own company, you got your cell phone.
You gotta pick one, bro.
You mobile. You doing
not
what you
in it
doing.
for the people
That's
at
how,
that time,
That's how
bro.
it is. You got.
if you kicking like in America, that's just what
If
it
you're
is.
making money, you can
If
do
you
whatever.
kicking
But
as a
you
black
gotta get-
person
but you gotta-
or a person of color, whatever you want to call it, if you kicking, you're independent. You're like, it's not like, you see what I'm saying? It's not like cities of rich black people nowhere. Like, you see what I'm saying? You could try to say Atlanta, but even Atlanta, like you go, no disrespect to Atlanta, cause musically, y'all fuck with each other. But, like, I don't even know how to say this, so I'm just saying, like, y'all got a lot of demons out there, like niggas on demon time, for real. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of that energy, like fake energy in damn, nigga, I feel like we I feel like this about to turn out bad, bro.
Nah.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a demon energy about Atlanta.
Nah, but
and I think
but
it's
it's fucked up.
hold on, let me
It's fucked
finish
up shit
this.
everywhere.
Let me finish this thought. The reason I feel like it's like this is purposely because there's a lot of black people in Atlanta, a lot of successful black people in Atlanta. Atlanta sounds so close to Atlantis. And if you think about it, if Atlanta is Atlantis and the black people are there rich, and you know what I'm saying, I feel like the whole frequency would have changed. So instead of doing that, we're gonna put the guns out here, we're gonna put the crack right here, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You see what I'm saying?
It's the party level.
Yeah, I'm not shitting on Atlanta
City.
people. I'm saying the system is putting that energy on y'all people, and like,
Yo,
you could feel it, bro.
Let's keep it a stat. Like, there's corruption that affects our economy on a large scale. And we like, you know, like I said, like he said, yeah, we can't ignore these things, but you could still progress, and you have to progress because you can't do it for free. You can't really affect change now. Like everything is fucking capitalistic. You know what I mean? So you gotta spend some bread to do anything, and sometimes it's a problem because they won't give an opportunity to a person that's in the hood, that knows what's going on in the hood, that's been around in the hood, that's not stupid, to make these changes in the community. They want somebody that's old because they've been going to a certain church or something like that, and they want to give them a chance, and they worked in the school system, but they really listen to the kids and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a difference. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I listen to what people say, but I wouldn't run for no senator or no governor. Not right now, anyway.
Yo, we don't trust the politicians.
Yo,
I'm just gonna keep it.
We gotta have our own shit. Yo,
we don't trust the politicians.
Do this shit years ago, bro.
The only real politicians got killed a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? The only real, like, the people that would have really changed fucking American history, they off. Because they were too in favor of certain things and they didn't like that shit. Like, they shit on Lincoln. And even Lincoln didn't really fuck with niggas anyway.
Right?
You see what I'm saying? She didn't really fuck with niggas anyway. But at the same time, they still shit on him because of the benefits that came with him, with his presidency. It's like, yo, this strategic move that you did to help us win the war fucked it up for, like, everybody. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, like
not really.
Like, people don't understand how valuable the idea of liberty is. Like, it's just the idea of actually being free, actually being able to do as you please, and not having to worry about, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna get in trouble or something like that. Yeah. And just doing what you want, eating what you want, drinking what you want, smoking what you want. You know what I mean? Whatever, with no consequence to it. But they have these things in play that they believe is structuralized, keep us in order, systematic lifestyle.
Yo, I do believe a lot of people are sick, bro. I do believe
you gotta go against the grain. It is a matrix. It's a real matrix. Like
there needs to be some type of structure. Like,
don't
let me fool y'all to think that I want some fucking utopia or some shit. Like, I want, there has to be some govern, there has to be some policing, there has to be some type
I don't need to be rich. Mm-hmm. All I need to be is what I would consider financially satisfied.
I be good as $1,000
and
nigga.
And then have my resources in higher places that I work with on different projects and such. I mean, my ideas, I'm probably not gonna be. I probably wouldn't be a person that's like reasonable. I'd probably be a rich ass nigga if I really do that. But I want resources. I value resources more than I value the money. Because being cool with this person, this nigga throw me a party for $100,000 and make back fucking $1 million from that shit. Like, that's a homie, nigga. Like, hell yeah. These are the people that I wanna be in campaign with, and I wanna be able to affect change in the community with. But it's people that do different shit, but they still mean well towards their people. Like, even if a nigga do, like, let's be real. If a person do coke or do whatever you do, that's what you do. But if you do that and you help in the community, then I can't really be bad because it's the reward versus the risk.
Yeah,
that's what you doing.
DMX.
That's what you doing. So, like, you're not affecting nobody else by doing what you do.
All the drugs you feel like you want to do, I'm not gonna judge you, but you hear the soul in that man's voice when he used to speak. All right, you see what I'm saying? R.I.P. Like, yo, like, yeah, bro. I fuck with niggas like that.
Yeah. And we lost true gentlemen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what people believe is a gentleman, like, you gotta wear a suit and all that shit. You know, that's bullshit. You could wear a suit, but you don't have to wear a suit to be a gentleman. You just conduct yourself.
Pull up in a dashiki, nigga.
Right. You can conduct yourself in any manner that you please, as long as you're putting your best foot forward. Somebody approach you, you polite to them, you know what I mean, and you're not rude when they say anything to you, and you greet them, you know, accordingly or whatever. But if you come at niggas like, yo, what you looking at? That's not a gentleman. It's not even a gangster. Because gangsters move in silence. Gangsters won't do that. Gangsters really like a real gentleman. If he really a gangster, because he know with power comes great responsibility. And you gotta be able to control yourself. You can't just kill a nigga just because he bumped into you. First you say, excuse me. Like, oh, my fault, I'm sorry about that. Then if they say some crazy shit to a gangster, that's probably it. Because he did be nice to him first. You know what I mean? But it's a real, genuine person that does those things. But they know that their struggle and ambition and drive and what they do to be revered and respected at that level. You're not gonna be respected at that level if you don't work when motherfuckers don't feel like working. Some people gotta do that. There's gotta be a person that's gonna do it. And everybody not willing to do that, and that's okay. But the person that's willing to do that may see a bigger picture. Or they might just wanna be a peon and just brown nose the boss and do whatever the boss asks them to do. Or they could be a person that's like, shit, it's a promotion coming up in a couple months. I'm about to do the most I can in the next few weeks or whatever, because I'm going on vacation next month, and they're gonna be like, oh shit, that nigga did do mad shit, did mad overtime last week. You know what I mean? And now you good. Now when this shit come up, you know you a candidate. You already applied for it, whatever you gotta do, you in there. But you gotta have a plan.
And that's the simple facts, Jack.
Facts.
Real shit. Hell yeah, you gotta have a plan, young kings and queens. Because if you don't know where you're going, well, if let's say you make a map and you're a boat, how are you gonna know where to go if you don't map it out?
Especially in the fucking boat.
You know what I'm saying? How you gonna know where to go? You won't have no idea where your destination is. You don't know where to go.
You see nothing order, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ain't no traffic signals in that shit. Ain't no fucking.
It's just like life. You have to know what you're supposed to do.
Went through.
And follow through, bro. And follow through. Shit.
I don't know, people like they think I be being hard on the young niggas because I be trying to say like, yo, like you can enjoy your shit, but you still gotta get out here, still put some bread away, still invest, still do shit. Why you don't got no kids and shit like that? Get your mind already focused on that shit. Because when you wait too long, then you be doing that shit for 9 years, like that shit's crazy. And the market's crazy for all this shit right now. So like if you young and you do that shit, 15 years, that shit will be nice.
See, you gotta have a kid, bro. So once you have a kid, you could just do it for them. Cause these little niggas, you could tell them that shit, but they're not hearing it, bro. They're not hearing it because they're in the mind state that they're fucked up, and you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Like they don't believe it, bro. They have to see it, and that's why, like, I feel like the only way they'll hear you is if you start like really like, yo, okay, my nigga, I'm gonna pull you in. Look, this is the bread. I'm gonna put this shit to the side. That's the only way they gonna hear you, my nigga.
Shit, the link's down below, nigga. Shit, click them shits, nigga. Like fuck, like it's ways to make money, nigga. Like every day.
You
know what
gotta
I mean?
like, coach these niggas.
But I don't be wanting to tell niggas that shit because it's like common sense, kind of like. But then I'm like, yo, because they got the internet, my nigga. They got the internet. I ain't had no internet.
The internet,
when I did this
the
shit.
internet will teach you information. It will not give you knowledge, my nigga.
That's right.
Only you can give them young niggas knowledge, my nigga. The internet is gonna give them facts and bullshit and everything. But it's
I give them
misdirection.
experience.
It's misdirection. If you gave them the direction, now they know what to fucking look for. You see?
Like you watch that show. What the fuck is that shit? Fucking. I ain't gonna say their name, but you know what I'm talking about with the dark skinned nigga and the other nigga, and they be talking about chicks and shit. I'm talking about how
It's a pie?
It's a pie.
Oh yeah.
So like, I ain't going front. Me and my sister, we watch this shit from time to time. Right? And a lot of women don't like this shit because they don't like what they talking about. They don't like KS rest in peace. You know what I mean?
For real?
A lot of them.